Well, I've been watching a ton of NBA basketball recently, and I've become obsessed with the word pace. It's a metric that I wasn't familiar with before, but if you notice, some teams, they just are on a fast break all the time, trying to get the ball into the hoop as quickly as possible, while other teams set up and run plays. And I think as AI practitioners, a lot of us are really just trying to do that fast break all day, every day, and it might be a good time to take a break, stop, look around, and set up, figure out what is pace all about. How can we pace ourselves to be the most productive AI practitioners in the world? And that's what today's video is all about. So obviously AI makes our work incredibly fast, but it also means our brain is running hotter than ever before. And there's really no natural stopping point, especially if you're running multiple different sessions like I am throughout the day. There's no place that's natural for you to stop and regroup. And you end up making your most important decisions at the end of a day, at the end of a work session, and this can lead to some bad decisions that can really compound. So in today's video, we're going to fight fire with fire. We are going to use AI to build a tool that's going to protect us from all of this, and I'm going to share with you a pacing framework that has allowed me to get more work done, to get better work done, and really changes how I feel at the end of the day. The goal is to move from this depleted or burnt out stage that many of us are feeling at the end of the day or the end of the week to a more sustainable practice where we can actually get better work done and conserve that feeling of energy. This is built directly from experience. I want to get into what's been going on with me recently, but before that, I want to just talk a little bit more about how the cost of never stopping. There's really no signal to rest. If you remember, we used to have to wait for certain things to process or wait for somebody to get back to us, but now there's really no easy tasks that give our brain a break, and this focused work just bleeds into more and more focused work, and hours pass before you realize that you haven't moved, and you really do feel depleted and exhausted. So the first solution here is this micro pacing. So these deliberate sprints with deliberate breaks in between. These can be 45 to 90 minute super high focused work sessions, and then a real stop, a real break where your brain has a chance to process what just happened. Here's a prompt we can use to build a timer to help us do just that. I'm going to paste that right here into Claude Cowork, and we're going to build this timer. If you've never built any code before, this is a great first experiment. Fairly simple project here that can really help you in so many ways down the road. I'm going to let that run. We'll come right back to that in a couple minutes here. Many of you are probably familiar with the Pomodoro technique, where you work for about 45 or 90 minutes and then you take a serious, real break. There's other approaches. There's actually some science around this where they say the perfect split there is a 52-minute working session and then 17 minutes off, so you can experiment with that. There's another a concept called time boxing that you might want to check out. The idea is that you experiment and find out what works best for you, what works best for your personality, for your schedule. And that's why I think creating that timer is a great way to do this, because you can really start to control that timer to match exactly what you need and what your experiments are yielding. This video in particular is pretty personal to me, as I just took my first real break in over 3 years of posting videos here to YouTube. I recently launched the AI for the Long Game course and had a blast doing it, but I pushed a little hard and I really had to dig myself out of a burnout hole. My brain was just overtaxed with all of that. I'm sharing all this because I know that it's not just me. From all the people that I talk to, we're realizing that there are some hidden costs that come along with this technology, as these interfaces are really set up to keep you going and keep you working with no natural endpoints, infinitely opening up these different questions, and then you can quickly answer that question, which leads to another problem or another thing that you need to solve. It's pretty crazy. It's actually really intensified the amount of work that I've been doing over the past 3 years when I think back to 3 or 4 years ago. And the data really matches that, as we see heavy AI users are reporting sharply higher burnout rates, and AI power users are logging nearly an extra half day per week that they're working. And very few of these folks are actually putting that back into their personal time, into free time. That's the promise of AI, is that we would have this extra free time. But the reality is we're realizing we can get so much done that we set our goals, we move those goalposts to a much farther place, and we're working harder than ever. When we think back to our old work, there were these little moments where our tools would be very slow. There would be these long renders or waiting for replies. That friction was also a reset, whether we knew it or not. And AI has removed that friction, and with it kind of every natural pause that we would go through. Without those pauses, we're now in this endless cycle of focused work, and we've got to realize that our brain, just like the AI, has a context window as well. The context window of the AI is sort of that working memory, and when we fill that up, it starts to reason worse. It starts to make bad decisions. Our brains are the exact same way. When you think about it, this is actually a bigger problem than you might realize, because it's at the end of these long working sessions that we're actually making the most important decisions. Those final decisions are often the highest stakes decisions because they set the foundation for whatever comes next. So here's how we solve that. You want to take your break before that part of the process, before you finalize something. While that work is still open, start your next working session. So if you're working for 45 minutes, you're going to get to a place where you just, hell or high water, you're going to take that break for a good 10, 15 minutes. Adjust this to whatever is best for you. But then it's when you come back, you can have a fresh eye on what's going on and make those final decisions, rather than trying to really power through and get something big done and kind of screwing it up all at the end when your context window is sort of broken and when the AI's context window is struggling as well. That fresh brain handles those high stakes moments way better than the fried brain can. So I can get through about 3 or maybe 4 of those really focused 90-minute sessions in a day before my brain starts to turn to mush. So you got to really think about this and how you plan your day. The same logic applies on the daily level. At the end of the day, you're feeling the most depleted. So it's the worst time to make any important decisions or finalize anything, figure out exactly what the next steps are. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense to defer that, keep that chat string open, and just come back to it first thing in the morning. And I can guarantee you're going to have a very fresh perspective on how to make those high stakes things, how to make those high stakes decisions, and how to finalize that project in a strong way, not just finish, but finish strong. Another major tool that has helped me is NSDR to reset my human context window. This stands for non-sleep deep rest. I run this right after my 2 big morning sessions. So I'll typically do 2 to 3 highly focused 90-minute sessions in the morning. I'll break for lunch, and then I'll do one of these NSDRs after lunch. There's a woman named Allie Boothard, I believe is how you say her name on YouTube. She's got some fantastic NSDR. I listen to her almost every day. This completely was a game changer for me, so I could come back after lunch when I was slowest and really bring another highly focused session or 2 in the afternoon without using caffeine in the afternoon, because that's no good, as it disrupts your sleep and then your next day is all screwed up. So NSDR has really helped clean my brain's context window without, even better than a nap. It doesn't take as long as a nap. It works better. I come back feeling much sharper in the afternoon and not foggier. Here's some other thoughts about how to schedule your day and your week around this stuff. Make sure that your schedule aligns with this and that you are using those high judgment moments not to just grind through email. I know it's tempting to, you want to get your inbox to 0 first thing in the morning, but you can really waste a lot of time. That stuff can be saved till later in the day. You want to do your highest impact things early in the morning, and then what I call my afternoons I use for any tested workflows. So things that I got AI really dialed in on that it can really help me with. Where I don't need to make, as deep of decisions. A lot of that is using AI to answer emails or to plan out, different communications and things like that. That management type stuff with tested workflows that are working well, that I can really kind of trust, and I'm not testing and building the workflow as I'm going through it. That's what I do in those low energy slots, which tend to be the afternoons, kind of in the middle of the week, are the lowest energy. Here's a prompt for energy maxing that you can use to help plan this stuff out for you. So feel free to take a screenshot of that or jump into the Patreon. I have almost 200 cheat sheets available to anybody who supports this channel on Patreon. Jump in there and grab some resources like this. Let's jump back into Claude and see how it did on that Pomodoro timer that we kicked off just a couple minutes ago. This looks pretty awesome. 45 minutes here. You can obviously start it, reset it, and skip things. And what's most important is that you can dial it up or down so you can really adjust it to exactly what you need. I don't think anybody's the same. Everybody's schedule is different. Another really cool thing with this is you can open it up right here inside of Chrome, and you got it right here while you are working. So if you're new to code, it's a great way to get started just with this Pomodoro timer. Can be really handy in boosting your productivity. So we've talked about our working sessions and planning our days, but I think there's even a bigger picture than that, is when do we really need to step away from our work. That's exactly what I had to do. I had to take a little break, spend some time in nature in the last few days. Had a great time hiking the Appalachian Trail, running into some goofballs out there on the trail. And I was in an area where I could not access the internet if I wanted to. And I had to kind of do that because unplugging from this stuff is really, really difficult. But I found out while I was out there that the best ideas, I came up with a ton of ideas for videos while I was away from screens. And it's really crazy because there's a lot of research that shows that when you're walking, when you're away from a screen, especially walking in nature, your creative output is boosted by 60%. And I know that you've probably had this experience. It's when you step away from the computer that you get those insights. And when you get off screen for a couple days at a time, where you really start to see all sorts of cool things, you move into this divergent thinking mode, and that your mind wandering can help you solve some massive problems. So you got to step away and literally you got to see the forest from the trees there that you've been pruning endlessly. So a well-structured day will get you pretty far, but it's that deliberate offline time that's really a whole separate thing. The insight doesn't arrive while you're still in the middle of a conversation. You need that idle time so that your subconscious really starts to process all of the things. Rick Rubin calls this living in the vacuum, or spending time in the vacuum. And that's really where, your conscious mind starts to take a break, and some of the deep, best ideas come up from the subconscious. But it's easier said than done. It was really, really hard for me to unplug. I knew that if I stayed at home and just sat on the couch, that AI would be sitting there staring at me in the face, and I would really feel like I was falling behind if I wasn't, grinding away on AI like I've been doing for the past 3 years, pretty much nonstop. You can ask my wife, she will attest to that. But when you're in that mode, your brain never gets the idle time that it needs to regenerate that insight. You're not synthesizing ideas. You're not cross-pollinating ideas. You feel like you're producing more, but it's a lot of it is just, very low leverage stuff. So the returns on the screen time do shrink over time when you're not able to take that step back and realize, wait, what are some of the bigger picture things that I should be working on? How should I adjust my life and my workflows around what I'm really going after? So we've talked about planning your day and your different working sessions, but I think it makes sense to zoom out and do what I'm calling macro planning. And this is scheduling offline blocks and treating them truly as part of the system. This is not a luxury. This is not a reward. This is just part of getting real work done. You've got to plan when you're going to be offline and take these mental breaks the same way you plan any part of your work. But if you're anything like me, you're probably going to be surprised at how hard it is to actually do this. I knew that I needed to step away for a long time, but these tools are genuinely hard to leave. Each, session, each prompt is this reward loop, and there's these little dopamine hits that just pull you back in. And for me, it was willpower alone was not a reliable counter. I needed some structure around this. So I've been putting up these practical guardrails. This includes putting my phone in another room or kind of hiding it until I really need it, and really scheduling these no AI hours at the end of the day, and using a different physical space when I need to think without these tools. So that's been helpful, to just kind of leave my computer in the office at some points and just take out a pen and paper and write through some of the things that I'm struggling with and grappling with. So it's really true that the environment is much stronger than your intentions. I know that if the computer's right there, the phone's right there, I'm going to be popping into Perplexity and Claude. So setting up my environment to avoid that has been really helpful to me. But for me, the strongest and best medicine was just going out into the woods where I couldn't even tap into this technology if I wanted to. It was pretty extreme, but it worked really well. That's why I want to encourage you to find your own unplug path and don't leave this to willpower. You've got to design around it, and it's going to look different for everybody. So here's a unplug prompt that will help you figure out exactly what you should be doing, ways that you can fight this, ways that you can get offline. So grab this, use this, and figure out how to take these moments, take this step away where those really big insights are going to come to you that are going to pay dividends for months and years down the line. I guarantee you the payoff is huge when you string all of this together, those little micro pacing, so giving your brain rest in between sessions, taking breaks before you finalize things. Don't make those big decisions or those, final pieces of code. Don't do that when your brain is fried. Defer that to the next working session or even the next morning when your brain is fresh. And for sure, make sure to deliberately schedule some offline time so you can have these big insights, the highest leverage moments. This whole channel, my whole YouTube channel, came to me when I was driving across this massive bridge down in the Florida Keys, and I had no access to anything. I was just on this road for hours and hours and hours. That's when this YouTube channel idea came to me. It wasn't when I was sitting at the desk here. So these offline times can bring you tons of insights, and make sure to build these guardrails, build these systems, because willpower alone, if you're like me, is not going to cut it. But the result are these simple rhythms. You get sharper decisions. You just feel better at the end of the day. So here is your action plan. Start practicing micro pacing, scheduling these sprints, figuring out, is it 45 minutes or is it 90 minutes or is it 57 minutes? What's best for you in your schedule for those super focused blocks, and then those breaks, potentially weaving in an NSDR session some point throughout the day to reset your own context window. Then you want to make sure to take a break before you finalize anything. Don't just rush through at the end of building something and screw it all up at the very end. Most importantly is probably this macro pacing, deliberately scheduling in this offline time so you can swim in the vacuum, as Rick Rubin says, and enjoy those super high leverage insights that come along with that. And for sure, you want to build guardrails around all of this, because leaving it to just your will, especially, when your brain is fried, you have zero willpower. These guardrails, using the prompts that I've given you here, can help you really get this done and cement this so you don't get trapped in these loops of just, continuously doing this focused work and watching your productivity degrade at the same time. So if you want to go deeper, please jump into the Patreon. That is how I support this channel. There's almost 200 cheat sheets in there with all sorts of AI insights. I've also got a weekly newsletter that you can subscribe to for weekly workflows so you never miss anything that I'm putting out there. Make sure to sign up for that, and make sure to just try one thing in this framework. If you do nothing else, just move into that action mode, move out of just digesting content and into action mode. Put something from this to work right now. Once you do that, I've got another video all about using Claude for project management that people are raving about. There's a link to that right here. I'll see you over there.